Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Dear students, 12th class students, we are in our this class. The topic for today is development of education in Jammu and Kashmir. As per the topography of Jammu and Kashmir is concerned, here we have a climatic condition of. So the climatic condition of our atmosphere, it is very favorable and it is good for a mental development. Unfortunately, Jammu and Kashmir it has remained controversial right from the beginning, and that is why the stress was not given on the education. But the most fortunate thing was that the religious education, it was practiced in the state, whether it was Hindu rule or Sikh rule or later Muslims. We are very much proud that a good priest who came from Hamdan and started in your Kashmir the educational process, and people in Balaks got indulged in this educational system which was known as Maktab, and मकतब में लोग पढ़ते थे, चाहे वो लड़की हुआ करती थी या लड़का, बहरहाल. But as per the formal education is concerned, the formal education was introduced after British rule. When the Britishers came here in Kashmir, India, and they ruled here, and the missionary schools were introduced. So the first missionary school which was introduced in 1883, and the founder of that institution was GHSS. And at that time, he faced number of problems. The first problem was that accommodation problem. And people too were not interested at that time to be linked with the formal education, especially the language which they were going to introduce here, that is English. And somehow, after years together, they succeeded, and the government at that time, the government managed somewhere in Fateh Kadal, and the building was provided to the missionary schools, and near about at the initial, I forget to say, at the initial only 5 students were enrolled in the institution, only 5. But after couple of years, when they shifted the school to Fateh Kadal, and the roll exceeded up to 200, and later Mr. Bisco, he too was asked to be the part of the institution, that missionary school, with his efforts, and the role extended up to 250. It is 1890, sorry. It's 1890. The school introduced subjects like English, Urdu, Hindi, and Persian. Persian too was very famous at that time. Medical stream and art stream was introduced. Now the people taste the value of this education, formal education, and the students were enrolled, and the role got extended. Mr. Briscoe also introduced co-curriculum activities, or what we can say social activities, also in this education system. It was camping, mountaineering, swimming, drilling. So other activities were also involved. And in 1993 to 85, one of the most important thing was introduced at that time. It was the girl education. Girls were also involved in the educational system, but it was totally out of mind of these people of that time. They were shocked to see that girls too are being involved. They are being sent to the school, but fortunately, it was a successful plan, and girls too were introduced, and the system was going on. After that, hundreds of schools were introduced, universities, colleges, not only in our Kashmir but also in Jammu. So the education system, it was running, it was flourishing day by day. Unfortunately, things are happening. This is unfortunate thing in our Kashmir. Or situations are created. Unfortunately, they are not being created. It itself creates, and the good, I can say, bad effect is being it. Bad effect goes to institutions, but fortunately, the development was very high, and the most stress was laid on the education. And thank God, we see now the education of Jammu and Kashmir, it is at par to other states. We are producing good quality of students. So we should thank to those people who introduced formal education in our Jammu and Kashmir, and we see nowadays the good fruits of those efforts. Thank you. Tomorrow we will discuss one of the oldest institution of our Jammu and Kashmir, especially which is running and presently which is running in our Kashmir, that is Tyndall Disco. Inshallah, we will be tomorrow with you. Khuda Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum.